I did not have a typical college experience for two reasons. First reason is that I'm a huge weenie. I spent most of high school in my basement watching 4-hour-long Jane Austen epics on BBC America. My parents would come home from dinner or wherever they were out, and my dad would always joke like, "Oh, did you get in a lot of trouble when I was gone?" And then sort of look at like the empty popcorn and the credits and be like, "Yeah." The second reason is that I went to Mount Holyoke. And Mount Holyoke, if you don't know, is a women's college, not a girls' school. It's a women's college. It's one of only about 50 left in the country. And I made that choice because I figured the best way to de-weenie myself would be to spend 4 years in a bastion of unabashed feminism. Going off to college, my dad was, again making jokes like, you should make sure you get in trouble among all those women. And my mom would be like, no, seriously, you need to make sure you spend every Friday and Saturday at Amherst. You're not gonna have any fun at college if you don't. And so I showed up at Mount Holyoke, and the nickname that I developed within my first year was Straighty McStraighterson, which not only referred to my sexual orientation, but to the fact that my fellow strong, empowered women figured out that I was not the girl you called if you were gonna go get blasted in the woods or, hotbox the English department lounge. If you wanted a super fun study buddy on Friday nights, I was your gal. But I did manage to develop some good friends when I was there who sort of saw that I was maybe a little risk averse and were trying really hard to change that about me. And first it started, my friend Sarah coached me in how to describe our weekends to my parents on the phone. So rather than saying, yeah, Sarah and I ordered pizza and watched a Robin Williams HBO special, it was, we first got so drunk on boxed wine, and then we went crazy in the basement, we were just dancing around and doing all this stuff, and yeah, maybe there was a guy there, I don't know, and trying to make it sound. She was a very good coach. My friend Jen realized that I also had a really intense fear of film violence, and she decided to cure this by getting me really drunk on boxed wine yet again, and watching Jurassic Park. The evening ended with Jen laughing on the sofa while I was weeping behind it. And there were a lot of wonderful things. I had made these wonderful friendships. I learned a whole lot about, feminism and being an empowered woman, but I still didn't really do anything terribly badass in my 4 years there, beyond drinking boxed wine before the age of 21. And I decided on my very last night at Mount Holyoke that maybe that should change. And so my very last night at Mount Holyoke, Jen, Sarah, our friend Mallory, and I were all hanging out on the green. We'd had, once again, a lot of boxed wine. It really played a critical role in my college experience. And we wandered over to where they had set up golf carts for the older alumni who were there for reunion weekend, and this was the night before our big graduation. And Mallory, we'd all worked on the student newspaper together, the Mount Holyoke News, and we'd heard all these urban legends while we worked at the paper, and one of them was that the mailbox keys that we were given for our campus mailboxes could start the golf carts. So Mallory, tries hers, doesn't work. Jen and Sarah try theirs, doesn't work. I stick mine in, and guess what happens? I've started a golf cart with my mailbox key. And I'm fighting the instinct to pretend nothing happened, but then I'm like, wait a minute, this is my big chance. I can be a total badass. I'm like, hey guys, this one started. And they'll look at me and they're like, great, let's pile in and go for a ride. So there I am in the driver's seat of a golf cart. Mallory is next to me, and of course she's playing Call on Me in her iPod, because what else do you play in 2008 when you're joyriding a golf cart? Jen and Sarah in the back, and I just gun it. And golf carts, this maybe went 10 miles an hour, but it felt a lot faster than that. And I'm absolutely terrified, because you realize when you're actually driving when you've been drinking, you really have no control over your motor skills. And I'm trying so hard to convince myself and my friends that this is a great idea, so it's, me, call me. And I'm like, guys, this is just like Thelma and Louise. Then I'm like, wait a minute, Thelma and Louise died. Guys, we're such badasses. We're gonna get arrested or die in a horrible drunk driving accident. And then, so we're still driving around campus, me, call me. And then Mallory got a text from our friend Ashley, who wanted us to who heard what was going on somehow and wanted us to pick her up at her dorm. And Ashley's dorm is across the street from the main campus. It's Dickinson Hall. And Route 116 separates there's a few buildings on the other side. And Route 116, not a major highway, there isn't such a thing in South Hadley, Massachusetts. But it was the equivalent of like Rock Creek Parkway or MacArthur Boulevard. Like, it was not a place where you should take a golf cart. But still wanting to convince my friends this was like Thelma and Louise, but with a happy ending. I pull up to 116, and then I see there's a crosswalk. So against heavy protestation, I make Mallory go and press the button on the crosswalk. And I hit my foot on the pedal. Not that that's gonna make it go any faster, but I just try to gun it across the street. We pull up in front of Dickinson Hall, and there's Ashley with a bottle of wine and a gigantic inflatable monkey. To this day, I don't know where that inflatable monkey came from. Maybe they don't need to happen for a reason. But we pick her up, and of course she wants to do a couple loops around the economics building, like the dorm she lived in sophomore year. And I'm still like just frozen like this, and we're still playing Call on Me on repeat. And finally I was like, and we go back around where the golf carts had been parked, and I was like, okay, guys, maybe we should just drop it off now. So I pull up the golf cart right where I'd left it, take my key out, and I'm like, wow, guys, we didn't get caught. And then I hear the public safety siren pull up, and I do the only thing I can think of, which is run into the dormitory next door and hide behind the sofa, just like Jurassic Park. And Mallory had followed me in a lot more slowly, and I finally hear her voice after, we hear the sirens, we hear some talking, and then we hear them drive off. And she finally goes, Meg, is there a reason why you're behind the sofa? Yes, there is. Like, what if we get caught and we don't get to graduate? And she's like, Meg, they're gone. Like, you put it back where you found it. How much trouble do you think you could possibly get in? I was like, well, I mean, She finally, coaxes me out from behind the sofa. We go back out, and I'm still expecting there to be, a SWAT team there ready to, arrest me and make sure I never get a job after college, and, I'll be an infamous, legend in a bad way at Mount Holyoke. And then Kevin the party cop rolls by on his Segway. If you didn't go to Mount Holyoke, Kevin the party cop's entire job was to ride around campus on a Segway at night, saying, "Keep it down, ladies, if any of us are getting too loud." And Kevin the party cop sees me, just sort of looks me up and down, winks at me, waves, and says, "Evening, Massey." Keeps rolling down. And that was when I realized, holy shit, I got away with it. Mount Holyoke's motto is, "We create uncommon women." And it might have taken me 4 years and involved a few dives behind a sofa, but stealing a golf cart while drunk, driving around campus with an inflatable monkey on top is pretty fucking uncommon. And then the next day at graduation, I finally got my sweet revenge on my father, who asked me, "So, did you get in any trouble on your last night in college?" Actually, Dad, I did. Thank you.